Do we have any slide? Oh, here we go.
There's Juju.
This is our, I can't believe we have you guys on here. You guys, Kenyon and Bora, do you guys know each other?
No.
No, first time.
Yeah. We know Zohaib mutually, I believe, right?
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, because Zohaib is the glue that brought us together. Like I think that's how we met you, Bora and Kenyon, and actually Juju brought me to a dinner that Zohaib was at. And now I think he's back in New York, but it's
Zohaib is everywhere and nowhere. Oh, the man.
yeah, it's everywhere. And let's see, who else have we got on today? We've got Juju, of course, our
I should go somewhere with better lighting.
yeah, how come we can't see your face, Juju?
Backlit. I'm gonna go somewhere with better lighting.
Yeah, go somewhere with better lighting and add one of your products like me. Like I totally believe in like if you have a product that you can bring with you and talk about. I get so inspired by these founders that do that, like that will carry samples with them. Like this guy that has the Miracle Berry. Have you heard of it?
Hank Watt, man.
Is Hank on this call?
He is.
All right. So he is
You guys, call me out. It's good to be here.
How do you see who's on this? Let's see. Is there a list?
There is a list. There's a participants tab.
Participants tab. Okay. And then you can see, okay, joined. All right, awesome. Thanks everybody for coming on. We've got David Cheney on here, right? Hank. So this is going to be recorded. So it's nice that we can offer the learning that we take from these virtual forums and can archive it and share it. We did have a situation where there was a participant from China at the Canton Fair, and he had some insight that he asked that we could share here, but not record it. So we did edit that. So we have the ability to do that. So if you guys get excited and share something that oh, I wish I didn't mention that, we can edit it out if necessary. Because we definitely want to encourage open sharing here in the Global Founder Forum. It's really something that was inspired to be created during the challenge that we still have of the tariffs and people getting so frustrated with bad news, that we wanted to be a positive force in global business as a mindset. So I actually had booked a flight to Hong Kong as part of that, like being positive strategy, and met up with Alex and a couple other members of our team, and my other daughter Lila came with me to Hong Kong, and and Bora was there at the same time in China, and hopefully can share some of his learning. And then we wanted to kind of kick off, I think, even this get together, and I want to thank everybody for being here, especially Juju and Kenyon and Bora for everything you want to share. And it is an open environment, so it's not like just like everyone has to sit back. We do encourage participation. People may join in as they get the reminders or whatever to come back on and join us. But we wanted to kick off, Alex, if we have a little inspiring reel that was created just from this recent trip. It was a work trip it started in Hong Kong, and then Lila and I went to meet up with our team to take the TANDM Surf products to an offsite location. And here, I think it's gonna. All right, so the point is, right here we are based in San Clemente, and we are manufacturing globally. And our team, our creative team, and our the people that I was meeting with, we do work with. And as a small business, we've got a couple of different brands. We're going to focus on TANDM Surf today. But basically, we are looking at how can we scale and how can we enter markets outside the U.S. And, wanted Juliette to talk about her vision, and then, have you guys kind of share what some of the ideas are in a workshop format today. So and how what you see other people do, maybe the way your tools work. So let's kick it off. Juju?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me get to be a workshop because from like a brand owner perspective, and being in different like masterminds where people are talking about this specific issue, and how they're, moving forward in different ways or different strategies. It's, great to also hear like from people who have more like a streamlined expertise in a specific area of business versus like as a brand owner, there's so many other things that we're managing at once. So it would be really helpful to kind of go through, like from my perspective, what our vision for the brand is and how we can utilize, like the theme for today is utilizing creators around the world, and things too that might be specific for our specific brand. So our brand is called TANDM Surf. We were founded in 2020. We're original oversized inflatable bodyboard called the TANDM Surf Air Bodyboard that we pitched on Shark Tank and did a deal with 2 sharks with, and have been expanding our product offerings in the past 4 or 5 years, all about bringing people together on the water. So now we're doing our licensing deal with Margaritaville, and that's another part of our business that is offering the opportunity to expand into other countries. I just came back last week from a trip to the Bahamas where I met with like Margaritavilles there, because there are resorts in other countries as well that were licensed with Margaritaville. And then also being a somewhat seasonal product in the US, because, we're a water focused brand right now. So seeing how we can leverage to countries like Australia that has a similar surf culture, but on the opposite time of year. So yeah, I'm super excited to talk about different ideas that I would have for going global, but that we're kind of in the like ideation phase right now, and seeing how we can best execute that.
That's awesome. I'm curious if I can just jump in. What are you guys currently doing with creators in the US currently?
So from last season to now this year, last year was our first time really working with creators and having an operation set up. But we only worked with a handful that were typically like friends already, or reached out to us, or were already customers. And then now this year, we have a awesome influencer manager, Leia, who I believe is on the call too. And so we've been working on also bringing on different creators in the like beach space, not necessarily only having to be in the US, but people that can make, good content. And for us, since we have like especially for that bodyboard I'm holding in that picture, our original product, since it's like something new and innovative, we need footage of people using it and showing how to use it. That isn't all just me. So we will make sure to like have a creator agreement that they'll take the product in the water. And yeah, we'll reach out like via email based on following. And we are looking to work with smaller creators right now, because we're a smaller brand, and also they tend to be in the different niches. But yeah, that's our strategy right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. I mean, getting the word out, definitely you want to go for the creators that probably have more of that like surf vibe, surf culture, probably from like Florida, maybe like San Diego, California, if you talk about the US at least. I would say because your products, from what I can tell, are higher AOV, like on the more expensive side, rightfully so. Like I work a lot on TikTok Shop, and TikTok Shop is kind of all about mass sampling, but for products of your quality and price point, doesn't really I wouldn't say mass sampling makes that much sense because it's expensive, right? I assume to send free products. Um, I would say that, you know, a sampling will still work for your brand, but as you said, you kind of need to like teach people how to use the product, right? Or they haven't really seen anything like it before. So I think going for, you know, middle tier, smaller creators is a good idea, especially on the TikTok platform. And then having them do like live streams or like longer videos, not like these really short 15-second TikTok videos, but maybe like 2-minute, 3-minute videos because TikTok supports that now. And then live streams, because live streams, you know, it's like QVC style, right? You can just like talk and explain and like when you're buying a more expensive product, when I'm buying a van or some vehicle, I'm not gonna watch a TikTok on that, right? It'd be like, you know, here's how it's like a V8 engine and here are the new rims and stuff. You know, you want to go really into detail. You're gonna watch like an hour-long YouTube video. So I think, have you guys been exploring those kinds of creators at all?
Yes. TikTok has because especially last year we didn't do as much focus on TikTok, but the year before that, TikTok was working well with us. And I think too, from what I've heard from like meeting with the people at TikTok Shop, is they're wanting to have some like higher quality,
Yeah.
mid to higher end products on TikTok Shop. And so, you know, hopefully they can maybe help us out a little bit because that would be us. Because I think, you know, it's at least just from, you know, people like in general see TikTok Shop as just like cheap crap
Yeah.
basically, and aren't used to like actually spending making thoughtful purchase decisions on there. But I think that live that you said is a good point for that, because people might want to, you know, hear more, because that's what worked really well for us was a video that was over a minute long of me talking about replying to a comment. Somebody asked, why is it so expensive? And I just answered her question, explained over a minute, and that's our top performing video and ad ever. So I think that's a good point to do more like that and not just have it be me saying that, but because it's one thing if like the founder says it,
Yeah.
because obviously I'm going to say that, but to have other creators talk about it in that way.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kenyon. I saw you unmuted.
No, you're good. I think I was just gonna add something like to the very beginning of that, Bora, which is that like I think what's so exciting about surf in general is that it's such a localized culture. Like, you know, if you're in Southern California, you've probably heard of the wedge, like the famous break that all the
Yeah.
crazy YouTube videos are about. You know, that like pretty well known break, but like, you know, I'm sure a lot of people in Massachusetts have never heard of it. But so I think when it comes to like a creator strategy, there's like so much fun content to create that's so hyper local about local breaks that just like cut
Mhm.
through and somebody sees like, oh, they're talking about my break. What are they talking about? Oh, they're using this product on my break. That's where we like to go. So I think there's
Mhm.
something so scalable about the creator economy when it comes to surfing in general that it's just so fascinating to cut through that I'm just curious on what that would look like in practice. Maybe it's a lot harder in practice, but I think that would be so fascinating to see how to work in like local breaks as hooks and content to then bring it into the
Mhm.
actual product line.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Sorry, go ahead, Bora.
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of stupid, but the California surf culture reminded me of that like really old interview with this random surfer guy in San Diego, and he's like, "You get whoopah, totally pig." You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, it just
Exactly.
reminded me of that. It's pretty. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's so true. People always, you know, ask me when they find out I have a surf company and I'm based out of Brooklyn, New York right now. They're like, "Why'd you come to New York? Like you're from California." And it's partly for that exact reason. The Jersey Shore is like a target focus market for us, that we saw the potential in, even when we were based in California, and getting to learn more about different places, and because you know the geography affects it, the surf culture affects it, and that's part of what I've even been doing for our Margaritaville collaboration, is going to different Margaritavilles in different states and different countries and seeing how each one has a different vibe. And so it's one thing, you know, for me to go and kind of understand that, but to work with people that are creators that grew up in that culture and really get it. That was actually something someone I mentioned wanting to sell TANDM Surf in Australia because I think it would be a huge fit there. And someone gave me the advice, like, you know, Aussie culture is so specific, you're gonna have to like find someone that really gets it, that's over there. I think that has been true in everywhere that we've taken our boards out, because that's how we got started as a brand, which my parents, John and Mania, just did this yesterday in our hometown beach. We would go to the same beach every day during our Kickstarter campaign in COVID before we pitched Shark Tank. The same exact one in San Clemente, the one that I grew up going to. And it's like a very specific beach that was perfect for our boards. We went back yesterday and a bunch of people were there like with our boards that were customers. And so that's kind of been a goal of ours. Our vision is that a bunch of different beaches can be like that you go to in the summer and you'll see people with our boards. So like that's a goal that we have right now for Jersey Shore, to be another like hub like that.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I'm curious, it's really good, one, that you have a creative that worked, you know, you explaining why it's so expensive, and you know, it sounds like it kind of went viral and did really well. I think the next thing I would suggest, and maybe you're already doing this, but finding the relevant creators from all these locations. Like, it's good that you're going in person to each location and kind of like scouting it out yourself. I think once you've determined that that location is good, like, I don't know, Sydney, Australia, or like, you know, somewhere in Florida, like Miami or something. Once you've identified that these locations are good for your product, or probably good for your product, then I would suggest, you know, finding the creators in each region and then sending them your videos that did well, right? And saying like, hey, here's our product, here's the videos that did well. Like, you don't have to copy it. They probably shouldn't copy it. They should do their own like creative flair on it. And then, you know, maybe some of them will come up with completely new stuff as well. I think that would be a good next step. And I'm just curious, you know, going off that point, how are y'all currently finding, locating, and reaching out to these creators today?
So we Leia is our influencer outreach manager, so she could probably go into like more detail, but I know she's been using like leveraging AI as well to kind of start out with like a long list of people and then going through ones that stand out based on certain criteria, like their location. So we are looking for people based out of Florida, because Margaritaville is based out of Florida, so like that would be a great connections to have in Florida and California, New Jersey, New York, because that's close by where I am. And then filtering too by like how many followers they have, and then going through, since we're still doing like a small amount so far, going through individually the type of content that they make and like seeing if there's a fit, and then having like the two-way communication too, so that it could be like we're also, you know, making it like a community, having a group chat with everyone so that it can be like an ongoing kind of squad.
Yeah, that's good. If Leah's on the call, or, you know, can she talk more about the tools and the strategies she's using? Is that something that we can do?
It is on the call. Lee, can you hop on here?
I'd love to deep dive for everybody to kind of see what's going on under the hood, you know, and love to learn about the tools as well.
Yeah. Sorry, we can't hear you, Leah.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right, awesome. Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to meet you, by the way. It's good to see everyone's faces, not just, you know, in in chats or an email, but yeah, definitely for TANDM Surf, our strategy really is to connect with creators that really align the brand's vibe. Specifically for TANDM Surf, because TANDM Surf is like a free-spirited type of product, and we all know it's not just a mediocre brand product, but definitely something to kind of like, it's a family brand, from the other brand that we are currently working on, plus TANDM Surf is something that we'd like to um create content with different creators, specifically for Florida with Margaritaville. The Margaritaville is going on right now, and yeah, our strategy really is to connect with them and build relationship, because that's basically how we start to connect, connect with them and create content. And then getting to know each creator, specifically, like for example, for Laura, we have this creator right now. We're talking to, and she is an advocate as well, and we build our websites to kind of like create stories and share contents with how we um create enjoyable moments using the product. So yeah, definitely our way of communication with our creators is that build relationship first, and then to kind of like create authentic content. Yep.
How are you sourcing these creators? How are you finding them? What kind of AI tools are you using to filter and message and reach out to them at scale?
Yeah, I'm using Reacher app to on the creators portal to kind of like get some context on what are the creators um used to, and it's really helpful for me to kind of like get some context and gauge on where they're located, or what are their content related to. And then yeah, so I'm using Reacher app, and aside from that is use Google Workspace as well, and keywords for Instagram and TikTok creator marketplace. So definitely we have a lot of options to kind of like connect with creators. But mainly I'm heavily focused on manual connection as well, using Gmail, and that's that's the problem right now. But yeah, definitely we have a lot of AI tools to kind of like help us connect with creators too.
That's good. Yeah. Manual, you mentioned manual connection using Gmail. I'm sure that takes a lot of time, just going one by one, right?
Correct, definitely.
Well, do you have any suggestions? So the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because, again, I'm, very in tune with TikTok Shop and the creator economy. And some numbers from TikTok Shop are that 94% of revenue generated on the platform comes from affiliate content, like creators making content. So 94% of billions of dollars is coming from creators, right? So I just want everybody to understand how important it is to, reach out to the right creators, have them making a ton of content. So I'm curious, like, have you seen any strategies work more than others? Like when you're reaching out to the creators, like sure, when you're finding them, you're trying to find the ones that match the brand, right? Like the family vibe, the cool laid back vibe of TANDM Surf and what the other brand you're working with. But on top of that, like what kind of messaging are you seeing works? Like what are creators really responding to? Do you have any insight there?
I think saying it right now when it comes to like in TikTok, it's really what do you call this one? A tricky place to connect and create content with, because in TikTok, you should be relatable, not too salesy, not to kind of like, you know what I mean? But it's more than like a very relatable content to do for that strategy. I'm seeing a gatekeeping psychology, buying behavior. So on the first 3 seconds of the video should be like you're creating catching their attention. So the first hooks, that's really, I think, in strategizing your content. I think that's basically how you will be able to convert and has sales using affiliate contents.
Nice. Sounds like you're ready to be an affiliate yourself. You know the strategies to make it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
here-
is also another kind of strategy that we were talking with. We had met someone from like TikTok Shop who has kind of been like helping us hone in our strategy too. And we were talking about how, like I like to make content as myself as well on my personal TikTok account. And so like I'll also kind of be a affiliate for my own brand on there to just to have other accounts to be posting on. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, being your own brand's affiliate is like huge. If you can come up with a viral like video style, like one example actually that I've watched for a long time, I'm really into like the health space, health and wellness, like organic, like grass-fed, all those keywords. There's this one guy, I think his name is Brendan from Santa Cruz Medicinals is his company. Maybe you guys have seen him too. He's on YouTube and TikTok all the time. And I don't even know if he uses affiliates, but he sells on the TikTok Shop platform on Amazon. And he just goes, and for like the past couple of years, he goes into supermarkets and he like goes to the soda aisle and he's like, he just talks to random people and he says, "Hey, are you gonna drink that soda? Are you gonna drink this like Red 40?" Like basically stops them and he's like, "I'll pay you $100 to put that down and go get something healthier," right? And he just does this over and over and over again, and his videos go viral, and he does great. He makes tons of sales. So like, I think if you can come up with, and that's his thing, right? Like anytime someone goes and offers $100 to not eat McDonald's or not eat crumble cookie or not drink soda, that's his stuff. Like he came up with that, and he does great. So if you can think of your own video style, like your own viral video style that you can just like make over and over again, post on YouTube Shorts, post on TikTok, Instagram, I think that's a really good strategy. Like you could definitely grow like that.
Yeah, definitely. Would be like that's what kind of sets apart the brand accounts from, being like a business account to being something that people follow along to and have an impact in overall like TikTok culture. And, there are business accounts, like there's a coffee shop in Rhode Island that I follow because they kind of, started a trend for a style of videos in coffee shops. I've never been to this coffee shop. I don't have any plans on going, but I watch all their videos and I like them. And even though I haven't been there, I know if I ever end up in Rhode Island, I'd probably want to go there. And so, yeah, that's a huge point too. And I think, a lot of brands will think, oh, what are the trends that we need to be hopping on? Because like that's what's trending and that's what could go viral. But I think you make a good point that you really have to be the one to create your own trend. That's what people would rather see from brands because it comes off as more like disingenuous when a brand is just posting like the kind of trend format. It's fun to do them every now and then, or especially if you put your own spin on it, but having like a authentic way of interacting with your community and putting that in a TikTok form in a way that's like interesting, but you can keep doing it over and over again and people will keep watching is the move, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, like thinking about Rhode Island as a state, no like shade at Rhode Island, but I forget exists most of the time. So the fact that you watch a video about some random coffee shop in kind of like a random state and you know about it, like if you ever end up in Rhode Island, you'll go there. That's the beauty of social media in this day and age, right? It's all about like the algorithms have actually changed as well. Like back in the day, you'd go on Instagram, right? You only see posts from people that you follow. You wouldn't really see random posts from like random people. That all changed with like TikTok. I think TikTok led the charge on that. So on TikTok, their algorithm, the way it works, I'm not sure if everybody knows, but if you make an account and you have 0 followers and you're not following anybody and you post a video, the way the algorithm works is they'll show it to at least one person. Like at least one person is going to see your video. And then if their interaction with that video is good, it's going to show it to more people and more people and more people. And that's why the virality aspect of TikTok is so strong, because once you post that video, you could be a nobody, you could have no followers and nothing. But if you make a good piece of content, you'll go viral, right? And that's how TikTok started changing the algorithm. And then Instagram took that up now. Like if you go on Instagram, I see random people, random posts based off what the algorithm thinks I want to see. So like to your point, random coffee shop, Rhode Island, maybe you like coffee. Maybe you're like searching for coffee on Instagram or coffee on TikTok. And then this coffee shop happens to make coffee videos. And then all of a sudden you're seeing this random coffee shop's videos, right? Like you would have never seen this Rhode Island coffee shop's videos otherwise. So it's like the power of these social media platforms. I feel like it's still misunderstood and untapped into. And the way you guys can use that is like make videos that appeal to the surfer, people that are like looking into surfing or like beach vibes or like Bahamas. And then just find, to your point, find something that works, that goes viral. And you don't even have to make it up yourself. You can like kind of like copy other people, maybe give them like credit, like, oh, I saw this video that someone else did that went viral and I want to do my take on it, right? And then boom, you can still go viral, right? It's just about making the content and putting it out there. And that heavily increases your chances of basically gaining market share in the market that you're in.
I have
Yeah,
a
and
question.
Oh.
Sorry. Hi,
I was just gonna say,
Anya.
oh,
I have a question.
wait, you
I'm Anya.
Hey,
We met in
Manya.
person in Austin.
Yes, we did
Introduce
meet in
yourself,
person.
Manya.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask though, I mean, I'm not on this end much, but does virality always equate to sales or
No,
uh,
Yeah,
that's
no,
definitely not.
it doesn't. It doesn't. Kenyon, go ahead.
That's
You sound like
for
you have some opinions there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have seen some, hilarious is the wrong word because it's actually quite unfortunate, but I have seen some wicked scenarios of many cases of brands shilling out, $10,000 for a post for an engagement that literally returned $200 in sales. And so this happens all the time. And I think like Typeform just did like a really good survey on like 1,300 creators about this, and we probably already know the answer, but it always comes back to authenticity. Like, was it an authentic pitch, or was it just like so obviously a paid promotion and didn't resonate at all that like everybody just like knew immediately to swipe past it the moment they saw the tone of voice come out of their mouth?
Right.
That is usually central to it there, but and then like a few things that I always like see that are like, because I have seen some cases where people were authentic, but honestly sometimes people just lack like a little bit of salesmanship as far as like, and when I say salesmanship, I'm not talking like classic like Wolf of Wall Street style pushy salesmanship, but like salesmanship like making it easy to buy, like telling them like what is the price, making sure people know like how do you buy, like things logistically that you do need to know to actually like purchase a product. Obviously TikTok does this really well, like uh programmatically, but like if you even look about like arenas outside of TikTok and like Insta stories or YouTube videos, there will be people who will speak really well to a product, but they'll just literally leave out the fact that it's like, by the way, the link is in my bio. You can purchase it there. There will be a discount applied. Like those are just simple things that like every time you like are very clear about that, you're just like racking up a higher conversion rate pretty clearly. But yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add to that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the call to action piece is like is really important. I mean, like when I'm watching YouTube videos, I might really like the content, but if they don't tell me to like and subscribe, I won't even think about it. Like
Yeah.
I probably won't anyways, but the chance of me liking and subscribing will go up significantly if they just mention it for like a second, right? In the beginning or the end. That's the same thing with the call to action on any affiliate video that you could shop from, that you could purchase from. There needs to be a call to action. They need to say like you can purchase it right here or like there or wherever they put the box, right? And that's just one aspect of a lot of things you said, Kenyon. I think to your point, like you kind of, there's creators that know how to sell and those that don't, and you just need to be able to identify the ones that can sell without being Wolf of Wall Street level salesy,
Mhm.
but doing the right things to increase the chances of getting a sale. So that's to get sales. I would agree with you on all those points. The thing is that I try to pitch to brands these days is like social media and social commerce. I like to try to shift the goal of those platforms. Like rather than making a ton of money on TikTok shop, I'll just say TikTok shop for social commerce reasons. Like let's say TikTok shop, they go on the platform and they think they're gonna become millionaires on TikTok shop. That's actually usually not the case, and I don't want people to think that. You should view TikTok shop as like a really powerful marketing engine that you can actually make money from. Like traditionally,
Yeah.
when you do marketing, you're spending a ton of money for maybe some results. TikTok shop, you're doing marketing and you can potentially make money from your marketing, which is so like rare. And people don't see it that way. They just see it as like an Amazon or a Shopify or a D2C. And here, I'll stop here, and Kenyon, you can add on to it. It looks like you want to say something. So I'll let you add on.
No, I mean that you're spot on. Like with TikTok Shop, you can go into it, not put any like money down. You need to put a good offer down for them to make commission on it. But like by actually not putting anything up front, you can get the impressions, accidentally can make a lot of money off of it.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you're gonna walk away with impressions guaranteed. Maybe you'll get some sales, but you gave up really nothing at the end of the day. It's really amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I TikTok Shop, you should look at the impressions. You should look at how many views are you getting, how many comments are you getting, how many reposts are you getting, how many people are learning about your product and seeing it, right? And then usually the money is being made elsewhere, not on TikTok Shop. The TikTok Shop, like the margins are really, really tight. I mean, you're paying a 6 to 8% platform fee. You're paying like 20 to 30% commission to affiliates. There's the cost of goods sold, right? There's ad fees. So by the time you like rack on all these fees, you have like what, 10% margin, maybe 15, maybe 20 if you're lucky. So like you can make money on TikTok Shop. That's not going to be the money maker though. The money maker is going to be the traffic that's sent from TikTok Shop to Amazon, to D2C, Shopify storefront, to retail. Like I personally had no idea what a Mary Ruth's was before TikTok Shop. And they've been one of the biggest brands selling like crazy. And I went to CVS the other day and I saw Mary Ruth's and I was like, oh, I know that brand. Like I might actually buy it now, right? I never would have looked at them before, but because I've seen them on TikTok so much, now I might buy it. But the margins in retail are so much better. Like I didn't buy that product on TikTok, although TikTok wants you to buy the product on TikTok. I didn't buy it on TikTok. I might buy it in CVS and you might get like a 20, 30% margin instead of a 10% margin, right? So that's the thing I don't know if I answered your question, Manya, with Kenyon, but was that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious because, is the goal virality or is the goal sales? And if it and I thought that clarifying the fact that TikTok Shop isn't necessarily where the sales come in, but it is important to do. That was also a good point because I find that, like we haven't really sold on TikTok Shop, but certainly some of the especially last year, some of the videos that Juliette posted on there that went viral definitely led to sales. We just had expected them on TikTok Shop, but they didn't come that way.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think too that and this is something that I always remind myself as, the one making a lot of the videos, because it can get frustrating to edit, film, put those videos out, like expecting to having different expectations, especially, having gone viral before, and then it kind of feels like gambling in a way, like every time you post one. But then sometimes when I'm scrolling on my own TikTok, I will get, and I think it's now clear that I enjoy like trying coffee at different cafes, because I'll get like a very hyper specific TikTok from someone with not many followers, hardly any views. It has like 40 likes, but it's them trying a coffee shop in New York City and like reviewing some drink, and that will influence the decisions I make, and also just make me aware of this cafe that I didn't know about before. And so that's something I think about too, like posting on our own TikTok and when we work with creators, because I think for a long time it was the big thing to work with one of those mega creators. Like people would think, oh, if Kendall Jenner posts a picture with your product, like you're gonna make millions of dollars. But there's still value in those. Like say I post a video and it gets like 500 views, that's still 500 views, that's still 500 people that didn't see it before. And typically, especially on TikTok, it's showing it to new people that don't follow you. And also like on Instagram, you can do trial reels, which it will for sure only send it to people that don't follow you. So yeah, I think that in terms of like the question of whether views equates to sales, it's not really. You'd think it would be more measurable on TikTok now that they have TikTok Shop, but ever since TikTok started as a platform, it's always kind of been like for discovery, not necessarily for purchase decisions, even though now they have that feature where it is a possibility. I think a huge, powerful part of TikTok is still that discovery, especially for smaller brands like us, where not everyone knows about it. I think if it were, like I see brands do well on TikTok Shop that are already established, like cosmetic brands, for example, where it's like a $20, maybe less than that, like makeup product, and they go on TikTok Shop, they're like, oh, purchase our product that's already popular, but on TikTok Shop is 20% off. That's kind of different than for like our brand where you know, people are just seeing a tandem surfboard for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for your brand, high AOV. So I don't personally actually work with a lot of high AOV products. I would recommend, you know, on top of the strategies we recommended today, like checking out what some other brands that also have high AOV products, like over $100 per product or $200 per product. Check out what they're doing, what kind of video content is working for them, and then maybe try to incorporate that for your guys' site as well. And then to your point, like the discounts, TikTok is still like an impulse buy platform that could still work for a larger price tag item. I think like for me, when I'm on TikTok, I don't really buy stuff in general. Like I don't buy anything. Like I have to my socks all have to have holes in them for me to buy new ones, you know? So like TikTok surprisingly will make me buy stuff too. And the point again is TikTok should have the lowest price point product such that I could purchase it on TikTok so that TikTok will know that people are purchasing on their platform and they'll show the product to more people to hopefully have them keep purchasing. And then from there, hopefully people will go to other places where you have a higher margin and purchase from there. I think if you're breaking even on TikTok, you're doing good because people are seeing your product and learning about it. In the beginning, especially. Like in the beginning, it's gonna be hard to get a profit on TikTok, but breaking even is still profitable for you as a brand.
A lot of these creators that are on TikTok, are they also part of other affiliate programs? I mean, is that what we should look at is identifying people that know how to make really TikTok friendly content, but then maybe are also popular on other platforms that we can, you know, drive people to purchase through our website, or, you know, we have Kenyon on here as well. Like we kind of believe in that co-creator opportunity where it can ultimately be driven by the creator who's promoting our brand, not only on TikTok, but throughout, you know, the other channels.
Yeah, I think in general, if a creator is big on one platform, they'll usually also have a following on another platform. Maybe not as big, but you know, maybe even bigger, who knows? But I think that's a good strategy. I would say for the TikTok side, these affiliates, the good ones are working with like tons of brands. Like it's like when you work with an influencer, you can get them to only work with you. Affiliates are not the same. Affiliates will work with like tons of brands, but it doesn't really matter because they'll make maybe 30 videos per product per day. And you know, one of them will go viral every day. It might be your product, it might be a different product. What matters is they know what they're doing and they'll make videos for you regularly. And those videos might go viral and those videos will get eyeballs on your product. I think that should be the focus. So actually you want to work with affiliates that are working with other brands. Probably not competitors, but just other brands, like, you know, good sales.
And I'd say like adding to that, because just because we're like our solution is like very much in the D2C side, we naturally are interacting with brands who already have high conviction around this. So it's a biased and skewed worldview here, but a lot of the brands we work with have this practice already baked in of, you know, we're going to test in all of these places, TikTok Shop, etc. Let's find winners, those who like we should go deeper on, and then let's try to convert them to try to push as much D2C traffic as we can, which is a lot easier said than done. They run into like all sorts of red tape when they try to do that. But yeah, John, as you mentioned, that has become like the idea of like approaching your creators and saying, look, we want to get you to start pushing traffic to our site. It's a lot better margins for everybody. We can even pay you more. And also to make that a little bit easier for you, we're going to give you your own co-branded landing page on our site as well. So, you know, you're going to look really sweet to your followers. You also have the ability to edit this, add whatever you think you need it to be effective. And so, yeah, that's becoming a very natural story to just the types of brands we tend to be working with because they bit to be a little bit more biased towards like we want to make as much traffic go to D2C as possible. That seems to be the launch pad. But a related thing to that is, you know, I know you guys have been inking these deals with Margaritaville, which is really epic. I think there's a really interesting trend that I'm starting to see from a lot more brands, which is like I think a lot of brands that I've talked to have felt burnt is the wrong word, but they feel like they're a little behind in the creator game. And so, like, as they try to catch up in the creator game, I'm noticing a lot of brands saying, well, at the same time, we're going to go try to find our own thing that we might be early on, which is starting to look like doing these more like B2B collabs, which is really cool to see what you've done because it's like we're seeing brands do this like all over the board. Like with hair salons, this is so popular, like hair salons, partnerships with hair care products. And I think that ties in a really interesting way just into the social commerce landscape because obviously a lot of these businesses have their own social following. Sometimes they're like massive social followings because they're like they've been a household name for like a decade. And so they were like maybe early on TikTok when it came out as like a brand presence. So like, you know, you guys have been doing your stuff Margaritaville. I'm really curious to hear that before we even get into like all the weird concepts you can do affiliate wise, um, how have you felt that kind of shake the brand, just like even getting that kind of partnership going?
Yeah, I remember the day we got a gorgeous ticket. It came in as a gorgeous ticket that the president of Margaritaville, he was like, "Hi, I'm the president of Margaritaville. We love your brand. We want to collaborate." And he like had a typo in it and stuff. And we were like, "Is this is this real?" Because you know, we're just little Tandem Surf and they're Margaritaville, but they had seen the president of Margaritaville was just watching Shark Tank one day, and it was when our update segment happened to air, and that's how he found out about us. And um, they needed a new licensee for their water sport products and pool floats, and wanted something more fun, fresh, innovative, a younger brand. And so they reached out to us. And I think that also goes to the point of, you know, putting yourself out there on different forms of media, like even though social media and TikTok is fairly new, like Shark Tank's been around for 15, 16 seasons now. And that was kind of like the original way that brands would go viral without social media. And because you never know who's going to see that Shark Tank episode and ask you to be their licensee for their giant brand. But yeah, so that was a kind of a really epic moment for us in our business. And also, you know, kind of nerve-wracking because it was our first ever experience licensing. We did 10 SKUs that we had never done before, some in a totally different product category that we had made before, doing the inflatable pool floats versus before we had only done the drop stitch boards and like foam floats. So it was a lot of work and thought and learning that went into launching this collaboration, but it's been a really great experience because the brand alignment is so genuinely there. And I feel it every time I go to a new Margaritaville location, and you know, it's just the people there are just my vibe. And it's because, you know, we have the same kind of vision of just making it easy and fun for people to go make memories on the water. And yeah, so it's been now we're still in that like start of summertime, so we've been like amping up, you know, all of the marketing and everything with Margaritaville. But yeah, it's interesting too because prior to Margaritaville we hadn't done huge amounts in retail. We had done like, small mom and pop surf shops along the coasts and stuff, but now Margaritaville is opening up doors for us to break into some bigger retail and their location retail. So yeah, it's been a really big part of our business. Something too that we want to keep in mind is we want to leverage as much as we can from doing this amazing licensing deal without it diluting too much of our standalone brand, because we didn't have as much to back us up before doing this deal. So that's also something we're finding the balance in.
Have you had a chance to leverage those various Margaritaville, because I believe they all operate independently, right? From like a marketing standpoint, from a social marketing standpoint. Have you had a chance to leverage those independent social channels for maybe affiliate? I'm curious if you've done it for affiliate, but if not even affiliate, at least just for awareness.
Yeah, and it's true that it's interesting how the Margaritaville locations work, because they also like license out their brand to different hospitality companies who open the resorts. Oh. Bora, are you heading out now?
Yeah, didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say that after you finished, but I gotta head.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for having me. I gotta go handle some things.
Thanks, Bora.
Take care. See you,
We will-
Bora.
Thank you for being.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. We'll connect after this. Bye.
Fine. But yeah, it's that's kind of what takes a lot of in the field work, I guess, is seeing how each specific location operates, and how they do their marketing, because the Margaritaville, the corporate side of it, like they have a CMO, and they have their creators. We've been able to work with, they have Margaritaville University, which is their college age creators, and so we've been able to work with them and connect with them, but each individual location has their own specific social media account, has their own way of doing things, their own specific vibe, so it definitely takes a lot more work to get fully tapped into each location. But what is interesting too about it is they all talk to each other. So that's kind of another part of our strategy, is finding who are going to be the core Margaritaville locations for us to really connect with, especially ones that were maybe first to order and really like our product. Or for example, the Hollywood, Florida one is the one that's the biggest and that everyone follows suit to. I just went to the Bahamas one because they have a wave pool flow rider type thing that's perfect for our boards. So, and they have a lazy river. And then I live close by to the Times Square Margaritaville, so I went to that one earlier this week and got to meet with the marketing director there. But he only does the marketing for the Times Square Margaritaville. But yeah, it's been a process, but a fun process, going
and then we're just getting
markets.
started. So
Yeah.
What are the thoughts in that, Manya? I wanted to, because this is a workshop format too, as we are just getting started with this. And Kenyon has really worked with our team on, and now that Bora's not here too, I mean, I wanted to make sure before Bora left, we got a chance to talk about TikTok, but now with Kenyon being here to kind of look at his co-branded website, and we actually have Rushdie on here who can not just for ourselves, if you guys may know this, but I'd like Rushdie to kind of share an example and maybe talk through how we could create for these Margaritaville locations, potentially, co-branded sites.
Yeah.
Similar to what we've done here with Modern Shelving. That might be a strategy, Kenyon, that let's say they bring in one of our or two of our SKUs. They do have the retail store, but if we work out a strategy where we feature their particular location, like here we've got an example, and Rushdie, you can come on too if you want to through what you did to build this out?
Yeah, so for this page from Cyril, recently I put up a brand specifically tailored for his style. So there's a new product out there from his product list with a specific render of a shelf with the plants in it, because he's one of our top performing affiliates in modern shelving. So this is what we're working right now. We are working a specific brand uh, for him with the render of having a plants in that shelf. So for every follower of him that who will visit his website, they will see that uh, that it looks like they can order the shelf that Cyril is using as well. So that is the one thing that I'm working with this co-branded site right now, along with other creators. And I think this is we can also work in it for tandem surf. But right now I'm still working with the modern shelving. So
Yeah, and
that's
I
it.
actually I have actually something I made a while ago for Tandem to even just show like that example, which is like I think culture like right now we're in a let me close this real quick. So I think like culturally right now, I think what's cool is like we're in an interesting space where like some like we have like a divide with people for who do they trust? Do they trust like people or do they trust institutions? And like I think a lot of the creator economy right now is very much geared towards, you know, let's get people to connect more with other people. But I do think there's like still this huge segment of shoppers out there who connect a little bit more with institutions. And so I think what you guys have tapped into in the licensing deal is really killer. And spinning up more of these, I think, is a strategy that really any brand can take if they can figure out the institutions they can also partner with. You guys have like fallen into the perfect scenario, of course, but like I think like we're seeing this across, you know, hair care products falling into, you know, doing these types of storefronts spun up with salons, and they're emailing their clients post visit saying like, thanks for coming in. By the way, you know, if you like the products we used on your hair, you can actually purchase those here, and it takes you to that experience. I think there's something very cool that you guys have tapped into with Margaritaville that could be scaled. Um, if like, you know, obviously if independent marketing directors are bought into it, that could really be emblematic of that, of like somebody visits a location and they get home and then they get an email and like, did you try out the boards? You can actually grab those boards here. Um, and that also taps into something I think really unique, which is that like right now in a lot of creator marketing, uh, which is no shade towards it, just one of the problems brands have is that you have to fight through the algorithm. I think what's really special about if you can also spin up a affiliate marketing opportunity through institutions is you don't have to fight an algorithm. You can go direct through those inboxes. If you can get the institution to email their customer list, then you kind of hit the home run there. So that would be awesome to see you guys build into that.
What do you think of that, Juju? You know, having had these meetings with the operators of these independent but licensed institution, as Kenyon refers to them, as a
Mhm.
strategy.
Yeah, I think that is also something that different locations have asked me about. That at my meeting with the Times Square Margaritaville, he had asked like, oh, what if we have these floats as an amenity for guests? And like, you know, imagine you go stay at a Margaritaville and you got to use an awesome pool float, and then that Margaritaville, maybe even if they don't, because some have a retail shop, but that's always the thing is, you know, they may not have space for it in their retail shop or don't want to purchase it for their shop. But if they have like their own digital storefront, that and they could operate like the way a creator could, or I think that would be a really really play into the whole experience of, you know, going and staying at a Margaritaville, especially if they already want to have it as an amenity. And I think too, like the idea of trying it and then finding out where to buy it. And I know that's something too that like works really well for creators. Like there are some creators that I follow who I really like their sense of style, and they'll have like their own like shop front. And I think TikTok even started to have, like the showcase, but it's not as like cute as some other like, creator storefronts where, if you already are a fan or a follower of this person, then you can see like what they buy and make it more of like the experience of, because I think that is also why TikTok Shop, I know at least for me as a consumer, like the whole experience of buying something on TikTok Shop just doesn't really make me feel good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Versus I think, when I feel like when I'm following someone and I like their content, and then it feels more of like an experience, and the path I went on to go and make that purchase decision makes me feel a lot better as a consumer, if that makes sense. Like that's a big reason too of why I don't typically shop online, is because I love the experience of going to a physical store and like looking at the different things and all that. And I think that's what's cool about like the creator led buying, is it feels more like a, when you and your friend are just having a conversation about like what brand of, even if it's like a brand of, I don't know, like what are your favorite blueberries to buy? Like that's the type of stuff I like to nerd out about. Like I really like the specific brand of blueberries. And so having like a creator, it kind of feels like, more of a thoughtful purchase decision versus, just a where can I get the biggest discount?
I think you're hitting on something so key too, which is to just actually take a step back and think like, does my product need spontaneity, or does my product need a purchase experience? And it's like Tandem's obviously a clear product that needs a purchase experience to feel like this is a sensible purchase, but obviously there's still those product categories out there where they thrive off of spontaneity. But yeah, I think that's a really great point there, that like consumers want experiences. That's a part of why they are willing to pay high price tags, because they want to feel good about paying that high price tag.
And when you stay in that Margaritaville, because I stayed there with my mom, and that's when I got the Margaritaville, and this was 2 years before we even had the Margaritaville deal, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so beach vibey and everything. I see why people stay here, from the elevator music to here we are in the middle of Manhattan, and then we got in the pool, and you wouldn't think that you were in the middle of New York City. And so to your point, Juju, like wanting to have that experience back home, no matter where you live. And then if you get an email from Kenyon, not just the feedback, like they always tell us about your experience, but if you want to relive that, here's a link to purchase the pool floats that you used at the pool party that Saturday. And then they get, it's already built out the way you've customized it like that. So they feel like they're not going to they're not going to the Tandem website, they're going to the Margaritaville curated collection and making that purchase. It seems like
Yeah, it's
that's
like
that.
same kind of thing of like when I like to go to concerts, and I never buy the merch because I always, I just never feel the need to buy the merch. But the last concert I went to, it was just like the best experience ever, like a great day, and I wanted to, commemorate the day, and so I bought the merch, and I also thought the merch was cool. And so like, I don't know, I think it's a similar type of idea and experience that, you're already having this Margaritaville guest go through this, amazing time. They're on vacation. They're perfectly primed for buying stuff.
Yep.
And could you actually do a Bahamas version, and then we could ship that basically, I guess you could ship no matter if, let's say, someone's from Denmark and they make a purchase through this Margaritaville X Tandem website. They could be anywhere.
Yeah, they could literally be anywhere. And that really circles back to like and I'm trying to get more brands to think like this too, is the beauty of institutions, man. Like you got the email list, which is in many cases so powerful compared to just leaning on strictly social followers. Like a lot of these institutions have built these email lists for 20 years. So I don't know who's in the call, but I would challenge you to think about, in addition to your creator strategy, what are the different institutions you can start to knock on the doors on and be like, hey, we have something you've probably never heard of before, but it's going to make you a lot of extra income, and let's try it out.
I like that, because even with Margaritaville now, they haven't got their e-commerce set up as with all the different licensed brands. And so when you go to their website right now, they just link back to our website. But what if we actually built out a specific website? I mean, there's different ways that we could do it working with you, Kenyon. So we have the Tandem website where we feature their products, but if we tie it into the experience that people have, and we test it out with, like to Juliette's point, a couple of the locations, and then offer that to some of the other more seasonal locations or ones that maybe weren't as open to the beginning. I think that's really a good spin on this, not just licensing, but looking at that legacy brand with adding, some new products and tying it into, a way for them to add value to the customer experience without having to, take on inventory in their shop until they know that it's going to be a driver of revenue. Then they start seeing the response, and they'll be like, oh, we probably should bring even more into the store and sell it here, and so forth. So you're probably reaching a different decision maker too, from the marketing department versus the retail department.
Yep, exactly. I'll email you a Loom after this, and we can get that expansion going. It shouldn't be hard at all. We already got the framework, so.
Are you ready, Jude?
We're ready.
Page and then Lee had the hands up too.
Because it's really hard to like that's probably one of the hardest parts about this collaboration is being able to navigate all the different locations and like keep track of them. So that would be helpful.
Because each one is different. Like the one in Hollywood could do paddle boarding, because they do have paddle boards. And and then they also have that same surf thing too, so they could do the body boards, the Margaritaville body boards, and then it helps. So it kind of builds off itself. But it's the previous licensee had it for 10 years, and they were a different company, and they had a private equity. They weren't as grassroots as we are. They weren't a Shark Tank brand. They weren't founder creator led the way we are at TANDM Surf. So this innovative approach, utilizing new the latest in technology and tactics, and having founder to founder, like you're a founder on here as well, Kenyon, right? Of this SaaS company, this technology, and a builder, and to be able to provide that the latest ideas and be, oh wow, why didn't I think of that? I think it sounds great. Leah, you had your hand up. Did you want to add something or have a question?
Yeah, I just want to share because it's really great that we had a chance to connect with Margaritaville and had a collaboration with them, because TANDM Surf basically had the way of positioning itself on a different location. Actually, that's the beauty of it. You had to go at different locations, and you make the product innate and make something like a native rooted product together with Margaritaville is something that is really basically a focal point for us, and to kind of like leverage it from Margaritaville as well. So yeah, I think the word that comes up in my mind when we're collaborating with Margaritaville is that brand positioning. Because for me, like for example, here in the Philippines, we have a lot of locations, specifically like for example, Boracay, Palawan. But to be honest, different locations, different vibe. What I'm trying to say is that TANDM Surf should be positioned in each, and Margaritaville does it for us. And addition with different it's a two-way benefit, I know, but it's really great to think about that our Tandem Surf has been positioning itself with different locations, and I wanted Tandem Surf to be innate in that location. So when I go to Margaritaville, Florida, I should Tandem Surf is there as well. So I want to position Tandem Surf is something innate in that location. So yeah, just to share.
Appreciate that. No, it's really great.
All right, so Kenyon, you said you have a Loom that's going to show us how to roll out with co-branded websites through the Margaritaville locations. I think we're also interested in looking at how to get, we have product now in Boracay in the Philippines. So I think it's time for us to launch the TANDM Surf globally as well. What do you think of that, Juliette? Going with TANDM Surf Boracay as a location that we can feature and sell product, and ship to customers there. And we've made content there. That's where a lot of our content has originally come from. Juliette's also taught, and I guess that's why we want to do the outreach. And I think, like we talked about, TikTok is a good way to meet and identify influential content creators. And then if we think globally, where we want to go next, like to Juju's point, Australia probably is a really good match. I mean, we haven't physically been there yet, but everyone keeps talking about that's such a great market, for surfing. They would love your boards there. Also, Portugal is another place. So we want to think in terms of global, Kenyon, and we'd love your support with how to, look at even doing, different languages on a co-branded website.
Yeah.
And we'd love to share what you do, within our Global Founder Forum community, as well as our Shark Tank community. So, you coming on here today, and some of the follow-up we can do after that will hopefully be able to spread the word, and we can share it. I know, with Modern Shelving, we're just getting started. We've already had a really good response as we build our, we call them our partners, because it is a higher ticket item with our shelving system, and it's a longer sales cycle, but the response has been really working out really well when it comes to those specific creators.
John,
Yeah.
Hank here.
Hey, Hank is here.
I could share more about this offline, but since this is the Global Founders Forum, I thought I might pipe in real quick about Australia. It's doing pretty well for us, and reason being is that we ship our inventory down through Amazon FBA there. Do you use Amazon FBA in the US?
We're just getting set up with Amazon now. Yeah.
Okay,
About to launch.
so great way to store your products and get them down there pretty cheaply. FYI.
Got it. Okay. So you've gone global with Nature's Wildberry, and this is Hank.
Yep.
Now, Hank,
How long has it
you're
been?
at Shopify as well, right, Hank?
Yeah, we do Shopify. Sometimes I can catch it where our fulfillment centers won't ship it from the US, and in those cases I'll ship it a lot cheaper from Australia, but I just let Amazon Australia do all the hard work of just selling to Amazon customers. But it is a great way to be able to fulfill down there using, Amazon's logistics, plus it's other partners for shipping in case you have one-off orders or stuff like that. So highly recommend.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, anyone else on the call too that wants to share anything else, whether you're from Tandem, Modern Shelving, or I know we had let's see, is Dave still on? Anyone else that would like to participate today? Manya?
I'm still on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that Kenyon talked about the whole Margaritaville having, that those email lists that they've built over the years, and in their case, like 20 years or so. And I definitely, as a brand, want to tap into that, because those are the people that love their product, or love that vibe, and would want to do that. But how do we do that without,
Yeah.
because we don't have the list, this email list, and it's all like
Yep.
kind of, I think, separated, because each one operates individually. So just getting to do that is tough.
It, I won't at all like act like I know how your conversations go, because Juju, I know how you probably have a loaded answer already, but I think one thing I've just seen broadly is it's so important to show them that you can take care of that traffic. If they're going to give you the traffic, you got to show them like we can take care of it. So like here's where that
Good
traffic is
point.
going. This traffic is really supportive of your brand. Look at it, we co-branded it, so we're not diluting your brand. We also know that this traffic we can convert it really well, and we can show you the data. So it's just making sure they know that like their brand's being respected and that traffic's being converted, and you can show them it's being converted. So those are huge, huge points, just getting those institutions open to pushing that traffic. Obviously, I don't know how like who these people are like in practice.
That's a good point.
But I think having their own, landing page is a lot better than just having like a code, an affiliate code. Having an actual page, like the way, could you just bring it up again, Kenyon? To be
Yeah,
able to share.
yeah, it's not a problem. I
No,
have it here.
there was a typo on there,
Oh,
but
sorry.
but because the TA and Tandium.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry. I made this a long time ago, so just a little mock-up.
No, but
My
it's
bad.
really cool because it's favorites from Margaritaville, Hollywood. I mean, and then we can even get, photography if Juliette's, we do it one by one. It's not a bad thing to go to, a Margaritaville location, personally, and work with them. That's like building your collaboration, and in tying the two things together. So far we've been to Mexico, we've been to Orlando, we've been to the Bahamas. There's what, over like 65 locations. I mean, if we
All
can get
right, I'll volunteer to do that.
yeah, and especially if you can make it and get the New York one going, and then and then get the assets, and I think it's something exciting for them to see, that
Mhm.
that they, we're basically just selling something incremental also, right? We're offering a product and a experience for their customer with a product that is Margaritaville. When my mom and I stayed there, we were just TANDM Surf. We didn't have the licensing deal. They treated us so well. It was a great experience. We had our saddles, and they let us video and everything. I think it's a very creator friendly environment. They're also dog friendly. I mean, the pet space is very big. So you have, as we look to develop other innovative products, it could be, dog vests and so forth. So it could really blow up for us. We are, like Juliette said, talking with big box, but they're also going to want to know, and this is when you talk with like a Costco, we're making plans now for 2027. So we've got time before that even happens. But meanwhile, you're going to want to have that momentum to get those inline products out the door of a big retailer that makes that investment of 50,000 units of a flow or whatever product we come up with. So I think it's like relaunching or our marketing and be getting creative. And that's why we want to even have this global founder forum to get us together, so you don't feel like you're coming in and trying to pitch us on us, that we're workshopping it, and we're trying to come up with solutions. But I think this is, Juliette, I think, like you said, this is something that may be a good approach versus, saying, taking, this $2,000 startup order, and they don't know what's going to happen. It's a softer approach. Hey, I'll build this for you guys, right? And you're talking with the marketing people versus this shopkeeper. I mean, Juliette was in the elevator with the CEO of Margaritaville this week.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Oh, he was CEO of Margaritaville at the time, but then after we got off the elevator, the market was like, "Oh, that was the CEO of Margaritaville." I was like, "You didn't want to say that
Yeah, so if they get behind it, Juliet, and then you all these marketing women, Juliette's planning a podcast with them on the water, literally on the water in a couple weeks.
Oh,
So this will give them even something to talk about. How every time you visit a Margaritaville location, you'll get an email with a link to for a special and it could even be location specific products. Like
yep.
you have let's say floats or merch that has the Hollywood location or the New York location, Juliette. So yeah, Kenyon, thank you for your participation in this and for building out that demo. I think like that's kind of what we're looking for is great ideas like this, Juliette. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a very good global founder forum. And I'm
Right on.
having
Thanks for. Oh, sorry. I said thanks for having me. This is my first one. I loved the energy. It's great.
Thank you, Kenyon, for coming on. Thank you, Juju and Manya, and for thoughts on marketing in Australia with Nature's Wildberry. That's a nice idea as well down under. So we'll continue to have these. It'll be another 2 or 3 weeks. And Kenny, you're welcome to join us. And thank you, David, for coming on as well. Who's another product developer. And hope everyone has a great weekend. And like they say at Margaritaville, keep the party going.
Right on. Take care, everybody.
bye.
Everyone,
Thanks,
thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks, Alex.